Hey everyone, Dan Carson here, B.Y.O.B Mortgage. It's been a couple weeks since I've been able to be on. I had a little battle with a little cold and had some travel getting in the way of running a show. And thankfully, we've had some content that we were able to share with everyone. So I'm excited to get back. Last time we had a guest on from Florida, and we were talking about the market down in 30A. And I'm going to get back to one of the things that I like doing and share a charity that is an awesome charity that we've started to support here recently, that we built a relationship with, and plan on growing that throughout the year and years to come. So I've got Justin Arent from Creek and Timber Legacy. It's a 501c3 nonprofit that works with veterans, first responders, children with illnesses and disabilities, and they take them out on guided hunts and outdoor adventures, everything from deer hunting, duck hunting, to just experiencing the outdoors. And another big focus of the organization is they bring awareness on the severity of veteran suicides. And it's been a tragedy and a reality in our society, and something that a lot of people deal with. And it's an amazing organization that we're excited to build a partnership with. So I'm going to bring Justin on here in a few minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about what they do, how they do it, how they formed, and really share what they do, and hopefully bring some awareness to the things that they're passionate about, and how we can all support them as a group in the real estate, mortgage, insurance industry, and really make an impact on people's lives and doing small things to make a big impact. So Justin, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, Dan, thank you. As you mentioned, I'm Justin Arent with Creek and Timber. I'm sitting here local in the North Texas area. Thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's an honor to have you. Really appreciate what you guys are doing, and how you're trying to do a lot for a lot of different people. So tell me a little bit about how you guys formed and what brought your charity about, and kind of give me a rundown on the history of how you guys formed and got running.
So 3 very patriotic individuals in the insurance and real estate industry. Dustin Payne, Shannon Cagle, and Justin Clark, got together, and they've been a part of some other organizations and kind of circled around, wanting to give back in a way that, it's kind of the unforeseen thing, with veteran suicide, soldiers coming back, sailors, airmen, and so forth. It's starting to gain more traction as far as the awareness goes, but it was something that was really near and dear to their heart. So they put this together, like, why not get these guys out in the outdoors? Like, just knowing that being, out, reset, refit, getting out of the hustle, the grind, and going out and being nature, whether you are hunting or fishing or just being, with other like-minded individuals, is really what, took to their hearts and made them create this. And it's been something that, has gone very well. Myself, I joined the Army back in 2007. I'm getting medically retired this year. So creeping up on 15 years. I was actually brought on as a recipient back in September on one of the hunts. And, I spoke with one of the founders, Dustin, and he, we talked about a couple different things. He ran it by me. He was like, hey, man, you're still active, but you're a veteran, you're local. We talked through some stuff, and I mentioned that, this is actually something that I'd planned on creating myself. I had a website, had all the SOPs, all the things that I looked at doing, as far as bringing awareness, getting guys out and about. And when I went on the hunt, I was like, man, this is even better than I pictured, and if you'll have me, I'd love to be a part of it, you know, and give back to what I'd, sorry,
No,
passionate,
no,
little, but you know, just to be able to give back, you know, and relate to those who, you know, I've gone through a lot of the similar stuff, you know, and these guys were already moving in that direction and very fast. And, you know, it made me feel even better about what they're doing. You know, none of these guys have served in the military per se, but they're serving their community. They're giving back, you know, and just being that patriotic and that down to earth, that grounded for these guys and gals who've gone through so much, you know, myself included. You know, I try to say it as humbly as possible, but, you know, and that's just it does, man. You know, it tugs on our heartstrings to give back. And so, you know, in early October, they brought me on as their director, or their development director, area development director. You know, and it's been going great. We just got done. We're wrapping up our morning with a 3-day veteran hunt. I had 4 recipients come out, just, you know, phenomenal individuals, you know, and just talking to them, you know, and I hear the same thing, and I know they're like, oh, you know, we all joke about, man, I want this monster buck. I want this awesome, you know, whatever it is, you know, I'm going to slay the birds. I want to limit out on whatever. But no matter the outcome, man, this was such a great time, you know, meeting other veterans. You know, we went on the dove hunt in September, sitting with 15 guys I'd never met, but we had been in the same places, served with some of the same people in the same units. And just that relationship, you know, that it's kind of like a grounding technique, man. And that's something that, you know, I can relate to as far as counseling, having dealt with some of the stuff that, you know, we try to bring awareness to. And it's phenomenal. You know, we've got another hunt coming up on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. We're taking 5 recipients out, you know, and it does a lot more on a deeper level than you could really see. Yeah. You know, you see the excitement, you know, just cool, man, I'm outdoors. Let's get it, you know, or hey, man, what's going on? You know, everything seems real awesome on the surface. And that's kind of where that balance of what you're not seeing on the surface is able to shift, you know, in the excitement of getting to get out, you know, getting away from town, just getting away from the hustle bustle, sharing that camaraderie, you know, with the guys and gals that, you know, the same people who served, you've been in similar situations, you know, and just sharing that love and that passion for outdoors. And then seeing, you know, the guys, the hunt masters, you know, the volunteers, just pour their hearts into what they're doing. And that's what had me sold. You know, I was on board day one, and I just waited till the end to tell them that. But
well, it's you know, the outdoors and getting out of the hustle and bustle, and you know, I'm an avid outdoorsman myself, and so it's like that's the one part of it that, you know, that's the release. That's where you get this, like your shoulders drop down a little bit, you know, your hair stands up a little bit higher, you just get relaxed and you just feel good about more things. But the camaraderie that comes from the group hunts and the time that you spend together, like that's where some of the best moments of that come from. And yeah, I've been reading a book called The Comfort Crisis. A guy named Michael Easter wrote that. Have you read it before? Have you heard of that book?
I've heard of it. It's on my to read list.
Yeah. So, you know, he's the whole thing is about how, you know, we become creatures of comfort, and we've lost touch with the experience of the outdoors and solitude of the outdoors, and just being at peace with being with nature. And there's something that we all need, and especially as men, you know, there's authors like John Eldridge, many others that have talked about how we desire that at that outdoor, that wild spirit, wild nature. And I think, you know, in the military, you get to experience a ton of that. You know, you're doing the trainings, you got group mentality, you're shooting guns, going wild places. And, you know, it becomes part of like who you are. And when you go back into normal society, I feel like it's so many people that, and one, thank you for your service as well. That's, you know, being a part of it all. It's, you know, we don't, as a civilian and somebody who's never served myself the same way that the other guys are, you know, I want to do everything I can to help people, you know, one, assimilate into society a little bit easier, but two, like, be able to have those experiences. And that's why I love what you guys are doing, because you get to get them back kind of in some of the element that they become so comfortable with over time and what they do. And, I just value what y'all are doing so much, because there's not a lot of organizations that really truly do it. They have the, it always seems like organizations start off great. They have a great mission, and then it kind of turns into something bigger, and then it's, becomes a business. And I feel like you guys are really focused on the people and the things that matter. And like you experiencing it yourself, I mean, that's just having somebody that's been there, that was a recipient, that is now driving the mission and development of the organization. I think it's just amazing what y'all are doing. And
one thing that, Dan, if you don't mind me jumping in here, because I've talked to Dustin and Shannon quite a bit about this. And, I think we underestimate the true sacrifice that a lot of these guys are giving when they're out defending our country and defending our freedoms. Yes, they come back, and we may see someone that's lost limbs and they've gone through some physical changes and sacrifice there. But a lot of those physical changes cause us to have to sacrifice a lifestyle that we may have grown up loving. And if you've ever been a hunter, if you've ever had that in your blood, it's just something that's within you all the time that you want to do. You want to experience again. Every experience is different. Some of the best hunts I've ever been on, I didn't even get to see the animal that I was pursuing. Right. But it was the greatest hunt because of the experience.
Right.
And just thinking, not being able to ever be able to do that again is an additional sacrifice, not to mention all the physical things that you've gone through. And I think that's what really gets me about Creek and Timber. Is when I hear Dustin and I hear Shannon and Justin talk about those stories of taking those recipients out, and the fact that they get to do it again, that people care enough to really understand what's going on inside of them and make the exceptions that they make to be able to make sure these guys get out and not have to give up everything. That's the coolest thing for me. It gives me chills.
Yeah, it is. And thanks for sharing that, Lyndon. It's this is there's so many different ways that you guys can have an impact on these guys, and just from the experience front, from the just the time that it takes, the dedication of energy and effort that it takes to coordinate all of it. Like a lot of people think, hunting's just like, hunting outdoor experience is like, you show up, it's all set up, it's easy. And it's like the work that goes on to like figure out, scout, to get the properties and get the landowners to donate space and everything else. I mean, it's so much work that goes in behind it. One of the things I always wonder is like, how can people get involved with the organization? Where do you guys need help right now?
Well, it's definitely strategic, to say the least. There's a lot that goes on, like you said, with finding landowners, finding, people who would want to donate their time or their lease or their property. Especially with a lot of the issues that we're having, with a lot of farms having issues with hogs in Texas. We know that's a huge crisis. And a lot of times it's just, people not knowing that our organization is out here that can do that. Like, hey, you got a hog problem. We got vets who would love to come out and tag them bad boys, and provide that meat. And there's a lot that goes with it. And it is, it's time consuming, but I think that's what makes, they say time flies when you're having fun. And if you're passionate about something like we are, and I see it, and that's what brought me on, was seeing these guys, and what they're doing is the drive behind it. It's not, I'll never become famous enough to quote this, but it's not what you do. It's why or how you do it. And the big issue is why, and how the push is going behind this mission, this mission focused drive. But, for people to get involved, a lot of people say, hey, go to our link, like our stuff. Yes, of course we want you to do that. creekandtimberlegacy.org. Actually we just went over to ctlegacy.org. Let me correct myself. It just changed last week. But, just to give some hints, I mean, if there are landowners that, would love to host, a veteran, first responder, or kiddo, to come out and hunt something on their property, feel free to reach out to us, whether it's just donating your time. We've got guys and gals that come out and volunteer, just to come out and to cook on the hunt and, just help clean up. It helps our guides, myself and another guy, Chandler. He was, we were out at, the Hunt Masters, and it was two of us running one of the hunts, and it was a lot involved. We go out, we get all the guys on the stands, we make sure everyone had a guide, and every veteran took an animal. So we were rounding everybody up, we're running the side-by-sides, we're running the trucks back and forth. So just helping that capacity. We're always looking for sponsorship and donorship, donors and sponsors, because it's not, it's not the cheapest thing to run either. We have a lot of great sponsors and donors that do help us get us, get us where we are. But, there's always a need for just a little bit more. And I know I really don't like saying it like that. I did not say that in a way that even came across great for me, but there's a lot of things that we're trying to reach, other destinations. We are trying to grow across, more nationwide. We've been in touch with some individuals and actually some other veterans that I've served with, that are, we've got some in Montana, up in Billings, Montana, Connecticut, and Florida. And we are trying to, make the outreach grow, just outside of Texas. So that way we're not just taking Texas veterans on hunts and fishing trips, or local Texas, first responders in Texas, get them out. We want to make this a once in a lifetime hunt or trip, taking, a Texan to Kansas, a person from Kansas to Montana and Montana to Florida, and, just make it even more impactful. Because, like I said, what did it for me was just to see what others are willing to do to give back, is very impactful. We're trying to make that impact, set.
It's awesome. What would you say are some, as you guys have been getting up and running, that is a little bit much on that sunshine coming in there. Sorry, guys, a little shift going on. So, every organization has struggles as they get up and running and growing and building. What are some of the struggles that you've seen, and what can we do for to help out outside of the normal stuff? You mentioned donations, you mentioned service time. What have been some of the hurdles that y'all have experienced, and what are other areas that you guys need help in, whether it be organizational structure, whether it be like the running of finance? Like tell us how from you getting up and running, where you guys could use more help there.
What really piqued myself personally was a lot of the SOPs that they had in place, the structure, the financial, they've got the right people in the right place. And I was slightly surprised, not just necessarily dinging Creek and Timber as a whole, but just coming into an organization, the communication was really great. Very open format, from top down, bottom up, left to right. It's very
buttoned up.
Not doesn't really skip a beat. Some of the things just really is our growth. We've got a great Beth, Dustin's wife, is doing some awesome stuff with marketing. So we're just continuing to push that. The outreach, it's really exposure, and that just comes with time, and I had to learn that in recruiting. One of the things I thought I wasn't going to like until I realized it was, very business oriented in my mind. That's, when I got my degree. And so I say that very lightly, but, there wasn't a lot where I see struggle personally. It's just, here's where we're at, here's our goals, and how do we reach that. And that's why I kind of emphasized on the sponsorship and donors portion of it, because we're trying to reach a goal to where we can bring on a couple more individuals and actually pay them to, it was like everyone on, does this voluntarily. Yeah. So that's kind of where, like, for me, I'm still active duty. I am a business owner as well. I run my business, my woodcrafting business, and so my other time other than being a husband and, a father is where I'm giving the rest of my drive to Creek and Timber. So we're trying to get it to where we can bring on some hired individuals so that, that is their 9 to 5, that is their focus, to help us grow. And like I said, with that growth, brings on more hunts. It's not just having a schedule like, hey, I can do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We can, bring individuals out during the week. We can start doing a little bit more research on the animals, and our biggest thing that we're pushing right now, more so the hunt, is growing our support system, and that's another one too, to answer that, to circle back on that question as far as how people can help, whatever profession you're in, if there's a way to give back to a veteran in doing what you're good at, whether it's in the real estate, in insurance, medical, just however, and I used to get that a lot, in recruiting, and that's what really brought me in from this like super soldier mentality to, coming back, like just kind of that balance of community and Army. And, people would say, hey, thank you for your service. I didn't serve, and I really started changing that up and saying, you can serve in whatever capacity, I think that's my personal belief is that's why we're here, is to service others, whether it's, in the medical field, in the military, in the education system. And then what we're doing with Creek and Timber, giving back and serving, so that, just to kind of spark people's brain on how they could give back, it might be different. But you can always serve in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, we're all have our God-given strengths, and we can put them to use and help an organization, finding spots that we can do others. I mean, obviously y'all are building a network, and I've been talking to Dustin about this as well, building a network of people to support, whether it be, like I said, whatever you're good at, banking, real estate, mortgage, I'm obviously there's a need for, therapist and, physical therapist and people that can be there to support people of the organization. Even if it's like, hey, you've got a phone call line where if somebody just needs to have a conversation and talk, like there's lots of different ways that people can get involved, and y'all have such a broad scope of who you service. It's, I tell you as a person myself that's passionate about helping vets and doing my part, I'm always there for a good cause and to help somebody, and that what y'all are doing, it matters. It's awesome. It's one of the most, I can tell the passion that's behind the organization. Those are the best organizations to support. So I'm really fired up about everything that y'all are doing and what the impact that it's going to have on the people around it. I mean, it's just, it's moving, and passion and motion is hard to stop. So, we want to do everything we can, and you've got my commitment to be a part of it and help you guys. Want to have you on regularly, talk about what y'all have going on, and finding out what are some updates? Are there any events or opportunities to get out in the near future? What's going on in the next 90 days that people should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's awesome about the way we have it set up, and again, if anyone's joining us later, it's creekandtimberlegacy.org. The very first button at the top, of course, you have our information, but it's nominate a recipient. If you know someone who served or, served yourself and want to get out on one of our events. So that's something that I do as the area development director is I created our order of merit list, right? You come in, pull the names once a week and go over the notes, and I reach out, just seeing how we can help, if it is a hunt, if it's something else, if it's just you want to get away, fishing, whatever your outlet, your escape, or whatever, I don't like to use that term escape that much, but sometimes it is, it's just, it's getting away from the daily grind. But that's that's something you can always do at any time. You nominate, man, I know that guy or I know that gal, she'd really benefit from this. Go in and nominate them. One of our big things right now is we are doing our 22 a month campaign. That is our big drive. That's where we're trying to get projected. Again, to reiterate, bringing someone on full time. So that way we can take that, that passion, that drive, and it not just be, like for me, an after work deal or on the weekend deal or when I could pencil in or if I could, play hooky from work, get that full-time thing going. But it is, 22 is a very common number now, which is, it's if you don't know what it is, look it up. Yeah. But that's our big push, is so we can, bring way more awareness. It is being brought to a lot of attention, but it's not what, it's how or why. And that's what we're really pushing for, is how we bring that awareness and why we're doing it, so we can give back, and talking about those circles, there's a lot of those, we try to figure out why can that individual, or, because we want to help, we want to ask why, not just, why are they dealing with that, but, how can we help?
Yeah.
And I've noticed in different circles how there's just some missing links. It's nothing intentional, it's just how things get overlooked. So bringing those circles and bringing those around, that's what we're trying to do. And the goal with bringing our, like I said, some full-time employees on, but also, getting more resources is why we're doing the 22 a month push. That would right now probably be one of our biggest, one of the best ways that someone can go in and help, more so immediately. It allows us to flex and get more resources sooner. But everything's case to case. Like you said, if they're in the medical field or I don't want to keep reiterating it, but I don't know how, if guys and gals are coming on and off on the podcast, but, that's one of the fastest ways to give back and to help us move forward, and if you have a specialty or a skill set, I'd love to talk to you one-on-one, or, talk to Shannon or Dustin, and so seeing how we could, plug someone in.
You have are you guys on Instagram at all, or Facebook?
We are on Instagram and Facebook.
So what we'll do is we'll post something up on my page. I'm sure Lyndon can get something on the difference in their Facebook group as well. So anybody that's on the show, so that we can get all those links shared, and get it out there. Everybody try to repost, do whatever we can to support those campaigns. And, if I was there, I'd hug you, brother. I know it's an emotional thing. And like everybody has somebody that has been affected and so for those that don't know, the 22 a day is based on the veteran suicide piece of things. And, everybody's knows somebody that's been impacted. And that's one of the saddest things about it all. And we can do a little part to lower that number, and how great would it be if that was 0 one day, and, if we can do a little bit day by day and serve each other, and serve the veteran community, that's what we all got to be about. So, know where your heart's at, man. So
I appreciate it, Dan.
Yeah. So it's what you guys are doing is amazing. And myself, everyone that is part of my organization, we got y'all's back, and we're going to keep supporting you. We're going to keep trying to do what we can to sponsor hunts, running events with you guys, pushing out the word and helping spread the word. Because it's a big impact to society. And thank you for all you're doing to help push it.
No, I appreciate you guys support it. It means a lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is my resting emotion face, but we really appreciate it, man. It's it means a lot. It means a lot more. It means a lot more than that we can see on the surface.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on and joining us today. There's nothing else more that we can say besides appreciate y'all. We love our vets. We appreciate what they do for us, and we need to do everything that we can. So, everybody who joined us today, thanks for watching in. This is Creek and Timber Legacy, great organization. We look forward to having them on the show again in the near future. And thanks for everything y'all do. And we'll see you guys next week. See you, Jess.
Thank you, Dan. See you.